And you know, another question, what are you gonna do? I know that sheriff's department is just, I mean, it's heavy, because I watch a lot of that too, and that takes stuff, I know they used to come in early on their shift and everything, and have coffee, shoot bowl, and that takes stuff. And now they're down to a point, that they come in at the last minute. What are you gonna do in order to bring them all back together?
That's the part that I am most experienced at. And let me give you a little background on that. I started the DARE program in the county in all 3 schools. When I walked in the doors, the schools were reluctant to have a uniformed officer in their buildings with their little children. And I understood that, but I worked with the schools. I showed them, instead of coming in, charging in and saying, now I'm here, we're going to do things my way. I went in and worked with them, worked with the teachers. I had the teachers help me become a better instructor in the schools. And by doing that, I built up a lot of rapport with the schools, and they trusted me. They trusted me, and that's the main thing. You build trust with the people. I think winning the election is going to start the process within the department, but then my plans are, once November 3rd comes around, I will be going to each of the employees of the sheriff's office and sitting down and talking to them, see what their ideas are. We have a lot of intelligent, good, hard-working employees in that office, and they need a little guidance, some of them. They need direction to follow. And so my plans are to go in and talk to each of them, see what their ideas are, and combine that and see what direction we're going to go. See what direction we're going to go with the department from that point. Then we have to start building trust back up with the public. And I have some pretty good plans of how to do that also. And it's not going to be by hiding in the office. It's going to be getting out with the public. Breakfast, dinner, coffee, meetings at night, whatever it takes to get people to know who I am and that I'm open and accessible to the public. Part of that is on every piece of literature I've handed out, my cell phone number, personal cell phone number is on that. I want to be accessible to the public. I will still have that number when I'm sheriff, and people will be able to call me. I do sleep a few hours during the night, so I'll have to return some calls, but other than that, I'm going to be accessible. And that's the way to build. Some of you remember Ernie Vanderhyde. He was sheriff when I started, and Ernie was accessible to the public. Everybody in the county knew who Ernie Vanderhyde was. They knew he was sheriff. And we have to start going back to that a little bit. The county's grown, so not everybody's going to know who the sheriff is, but the majority of people should be able to see me walking down the street and say, he's the sheriff. Not because I'm wearing a uniform, but because they know who I am.
One other question, people that been in trouble and stuff before, and they're getting their life changed around and everything. I know a lot of them still have fear of walking into the sheriff's office, and sitting down and talking with the sheriff or doing that, or if something comes up, they can possibly help the sheriff's department. Will that trust be put back into people, that's had a drug problem, had a drinking problem, and they've got their life straightened out now, and they're pretty good citizens and that type of stuff? Or are they going to feel comfortable walking in and talking?
I hope they do, and I'll try everything I can to to give them that feeling, that I have an open door, I'm accessible. If they don't want to meet at the sheriff's office, I'll go meet them wherever. We need to do that. The office is a place to hang our hat when we're there. We need to be out on the road, out with the public, to be visible to the public. That's where we can make the best impression on the public. That's how we're going to be able to restore the trust with the public.
I heard some, the matter of the sheriff's budget is brought up several times. How big is the budget?
8 years ago when I ran it was around $1 million, but I know it's got to be more than that, and I haven't been given any of that information. I haven't spent a lot of time, I believe it's somewhere between $2 and $3 million, but I haven't spent a lot of time on the details of the office. I've been concentrating on winning the election first. Between November 3rd and January, when I would be sworn into office, that's when I'm going to get those details. I'll know the budget pretty well by then. I know there's been comments made that I have no budgetary experience. When I started on the school board here, we dealt with a $14 million budget. I think I have a little knowledge, working knowledge of budgets. And for 9 years on the school board, we ended up cutting the budget every single year. There was never a year when we had more money coming in than the previous year, so we cut the budget. So I know what has to be done to cut corners, to cut waste out of the budget, and and then work with what we do have.